Hello, Gunpla fans. Today it's Speedball Haro, and today I'm here to do my review on the BTF's Master Grade Double Zeta Gundam for my Twitter votes conclusion. And I'd like to thank everyone once again for all those who voted and who helped me gain that many followers that that got me to post the poll to begin with. So I'd like to thank them and all the current and all new members. Alright, so today we're going to look at this fella who now I can tell you and I can say for a fact was a fun kit to build. It's a good variant of the Double Zeta. I had no problems with this kit. And being that this was this was based on the original Freedom Gundam's Master Grade frame, so that way you do know. I had no difficulties with it. I had no loose parts, no parts falling off him, nothing like that. He's holding together pretty well. No issues. He's definitely unique. He may not be able to transform, but he makes up for it in other ways. One way is that for one his weapon is now multi-use. What I mean is this, that it actually has more than one ability now. Because for one, the gun itself can actually separate into two halves to separate weapons to dual weapons setup, which is pretty cool actually. Sorry about that, my fingers do not want to. Here we go. As you can see by pulling the handle out right there. He can hold the guns from this angle upwards on both sides now. And of course, as you can see, color separation for the entire kit was pretty good, no major problems. The only thing you'd have to paint is like the lens color like I did, which is not even a big deal. Pretty common. And like I said, they're both dual functioning, so that means they can both work like this, can be set up just like this. If you didn't want it in a regular double beam gun, you can just set it up with his handle just like that, because as you can see there's the hole in the middle that attaches onto the hands because they do have the ports. And there you go. But if you didn't want, and also what's cool is that the gun holster for the double beam, it's, as you can see, it also has the same kind of handle, but the handle is foldable because if you want, you could actually store this component right on the back here. As you can see, you can actually store this right here. This way, if you just wanted to go dual wielding, you don't have to worry about that extra component. It's completely storable without any extra parts left over. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And let's see. Oh, and of course, if you didn't want that and you want the double Zeta setup for weaponry, you just simply fold down the guns, and where these ports and notches are right here, you connect them all together, and voila, you got the double Zeta's old-fashioned double beam gun, double beam rifle. And this thing looks awesome, actually. I like it. This is how big it is, and just, it just looks great. And of course he can hold it, but we'll show that later. And another thing that's unique with this variant of the Double Zeta is the beam sabers, actually. What I mean is this, as you normally would know, the Double Zeta's beam sabers are on his backpack through the giant beam sabers handles, like you see right here in his backpack. But because of the MG frame of the Freedom that they used, they decided to not. They recycled the original Freedom's beam sabers. Right here, as you can see, they even have the original notches. The only promise is that they don't. I don't know if this is just how the original Freedoms were, or just because it's you know, a re-release of it. But you get the point. But what they did though, instead of wasting the sabers or altering the backpack, is because of how big these knees are, they actually made them. They can store on his knees. That's where they store actually, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, you just slide them right in, and they just stay right there. Well, you have to turn them around a bit, but you get the point. Which is pretty cool, because then this way they don't have to alter anything with the backpack. Because you could technically use these, but you got to alter the hole a little at the end in order to fit the beam saber effect parts. But but truthfully, I'm fine with this. Honestly, it's pretty cool because these fit just fine. See, with no problems, no looseness, nothing. Oop, that wasn't supposed to come out. But you get the point. These are all the parts work pretty well. They stay in really good. And of course now to the backpack. Because as you can see, everything is functional. It moves, has no loose parts or anything like that. And the one reason I like this kit is not only because it's a double Zeta and all the cool stuff that it has, but the setup it has for its backpack. Because as you can see right there, it is the same peg setup like you would see for a striker pack setup. See, right there, which is definitely a good sign. Which does possibly mean that you could use striker packs with this guy, or you use his pack on a striker pack setup. So yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. If you have an Estrella or just a strike that you want to modify, customize to make a different variant, make it into like a dagger variant with this, or stuff like that, or even or I take a Destiny and give them this pack to make them an actual double Zeta variant. That's pretty cool, and it just plugs in just like that. And of course, but before we do all that, yeah, that way you can all see it. Oops, don't want that blurring up. All right, and we just there you go. See, simple. That's how he looks when he's got his backpack set up on. Now, of course, as I mentioned, this kit is based on the original Master Grade Freedom. So it's definitely going to have some flaws to it. I mean, it's not a 2.0, sadly, because originally, if you didn't know this kit itself was based on a resyn conversion kit from VP Conversions. And from what I understand, it was an original conversion kit for the Freedom to make this Zeta until the company BTF decided to convert it into an actual plastic kit. Which, I think it's a cool idea, honestly. I wish more third parties would do stuff like that, convert rescind conversions into regular plastic kits. For one, they probably wouldn't have as much trouble with third parties, third party lawsuits and copyrights and all that stuff. But, that's just just a thought I had. Alright, now before we put his weapons on, let's do some articulation so you guys can see. Let's move these out of the way so you guys can all take a good look at him. So like I said, of course I panel lined him so you can see the detailing on him. It's a simple kit, but I like it. He wasn't that hard to build. I've had no problems with him. Nothing's falling off. The only things I admit I've had minor issues with is that right here on his one foot, the polycap for the foot itself, for some reason it keeps popping out on me. The foot itself just keeps popping out. But I mean I modded it a little bit ago and so far it's working just fine. No problem. Only other one is the shoulder bits. They tend to like the shoulder joint keeps popping the shoulder out every so often, but it seems to be working right now. Maybe it was just a thing. And of course this is his waist articulation, as you can see. And here's his arm articulation. He does have full wrist articulation, and he has the older He doesn't have like the newer seat kind of setup for the fingers where you just pop the fingers out and just say they're all movable, as you can see, for trigger poses and handling. See, so, but I mean, I've had no problems with it. This is partially movable. It's a little tight though, so but it seems to be working just fine. He doesn't have big shoulder articulation due to this one part under here. I'm gonna see if you can try to see if I can get you to see that. Right there under the armpit, there's a small part that covers up a gaping hole that that's there from the original frame, which is understandable because of how it's set up. It sort of blocks the shoulder a bit, so. But it's not a huge not a huge deal. I mean, I've had no major issue with it. Let's see, and of course, he's got leg articulation. He does have a toe bend, knee bend, and of course, and what's interesting that he doesn't have a butt skirt, so you don't have to worry about butt, coverage. The only thing this will block you a bit, of course, unless you move it up a little bit. Then there you go. See, out, and there you go. This has some articulation up. It can't move back, but it does move up here. So yeah. Let's move these back a bit. And then down. And of course, he does have a port right here. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to make sure you can see that. Right there for a stand, if you want to put him up on a stand. So he does come prepared. He does have head to articulation. Oops, let's make sure you can see that. You can't move his head too far back because his head is pretty long, surprisingly, for a Gundam head. But, he does still have other good articulation. See? You can move that far back to this side. Same with the other side. And such like that. And like I said, he can move his arms about this high for shoulder reasons. Like I said, it's not terrible. I've seen worse. And honestly, like I said, I have no real complaints with him because everything I've put on him, it's holding on, no problem. It's doing pretty good. So yeah, I'm pretty glad about that. And like I said, it's multi-use. If you have other striker packs, you can definitely have fun customizing it. So if you wanted this guy, that'd be a good reason right there. As you can see. And he just makes a really good he makes a very good, interesting interpretation of a double Zeta. Because as we all know, double Zeta is a bulky guy. He's one of the biggest mobile suits there is. But this variant, he's not like bulky. I admit that. He's honestly more skinny because, like I said, he doesn't have the transformation gimmick and such. But he's a lot skinnier. Because here, to show my point, here's my F90 Gundam, and as we know, that is an MG, a smaller MG, but still an MG. And as you can see here, he's not as if it was the regular double, he would be a little bit bulkier and such. But I don't have a problem with it. I still like it. It's definitely unique. It just gives a new look on the double Zeta. Let's move you out of the way. Okay. Now, of course, and like I said here, you can store his beam sabers right here. Because there's notches on the beam saber itself that slides right onto these pegs. Perfect. Well, not perfect because they tend to slide around on me, but see? As you can see right there. And then you repeat if you don't want them on right now. I want to show his gun more or less. But no, I'm just glad, it was a fun build he was, no problems. Easy to build, easy to detail. Like I said, no problems with any parts. And like I said, if you're a big Seed fan, Destiny fan, and you want something that follows that same theory line of kits, technically this does do that. So if you want something that you can customize with Seed parts, or if you want something that you can have fun customizing with it, this guy would definitely fall into that. Or if you're a Double Zeta fan, and you want a different variant from the Phas, full armor, the Kai, etc. of the Double Zetas, you might want to look into this guy. It's definitely not a bad kid. And of course, like I said, that out. That way I can show off his gun. Okay, that's in. Push that all together. And there you go. Now his legs does move out if you push too much pressure down onto it, because it is a polycap. It's like he doesn't have any waist like any swivel in the legs to turn, because it's just a polycap basis. It doesn't have that type of joint system. But, like I said, it's an older MG frame. It makes sense. He's going to have his flaws. But if you know how to improve those flaws, then, you wouldn't have a problem with this kid, really. So he mine doesn't. Now, of course, he can get a little heavy if you put too much weight on one side for the middle polycap, sadly. Which, yeah, can be a flaw, but that can easily be fixed with certain things. But really, it's not really that bad if you look at it now. Right way. That. And there you go. You got your Double Zeta. So yeah, I'm definitely glad I got this kid, and I'm glad I was able to build this for my followers, for all the help they did. So can I recommend this kid to you guys? Definite. I don't have a problem with him. I don't think you guys would either. But being able to find him might be a different story due to when it was released. This was released back in 2013, I believe it was. Oh, let me take a quick look. Yeah, yep, 2013. So, yeah, you might have a little trouble finding them, or not. If because I have seen this company release other kits before, and such, but I can't say if they're still re-releasing some of their older ones. So this would be one of those. But definitely, though, if you can find them and you can get them for a good price, I would definitely recommend, just thinking about it. If you're a fan of Gundam Seed and Destiny and you want a MG, that's based with the Seed frame, this kid isn't bad. I've had no problems with him. I've been able to leave him on my desk for overnight and let him stand there if he's fallen over or if anything falls off. Nothing. No, nothing. It works out. It works fine. Now, for the company that made this kit, though, if you're wondering, besides the letters BTF, is a company called Butterfly. And that is the name, Butterfly, BTF. If you're wondering. Alright. But like I said, I'm glad that I was able to build this for you guys. And I'll probably do more stuff like this, for every accomplishment from my Twitter followers and such like that. So like I said, I definitely can recommend him if you're interested, if you're a Zeta fan, a Seed fan, and such like that. So I'd like to thank my followers once again. I like to, just hope we can continue this awesome fun. And all I could say is I'd like to say thank you all for coming. I hope you're all safe, especially nowadays. I hope you're all with your families. I hope you're enjoying your hobbies. And I hope you all have a good day.